Good evening. It is the Brenda Crocker Show. Yes. And today I'm doing a recipe by request from one of my co-workers, Haley. Hey, Haley. We about to do the cheeseburger soup, girl. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I have gotten all of the flaws. I have removed all of the flaws out of the recipe. Now, I got ground turkey. I don't eat ground beef. I'm barely a meat eater. I don't eat ground beef. I just can't. I can't. But you can use ground beef. It's going to come out the same way. I just can't use ground beef. So I have ground turkey. So these are the ingredients for the cheeseburger soup. This is my cheeseburger soup. The recipe that I saw, it just had, in a crock pot, it's just, no, Pinterest is really good for some things, but you have to take some of the stuff out of Pinterest. It's like a fail run. Sometimes you have a fail run with the recipes on Pinterest. So Pinterest is like a guide for recipes. Okay, so here are the ingredients that I have for my cheeseburger soup. I have ground turkey, so I'm making turkey burger soup or whatever, but cheeseburger soup. We have the chicken broth, Velvetta. I actually hate Velvetta cheese because it's processed and it sits on a shelf for years. But it's needed for the soup to give it that consistency. This is basil, parsley flakes, carrots, milk, butter, flour, sour cream. I only use Mexican sour cream, honey. I think I was Mexican in my past life because I love like all of Mexican products. Like, let me just show you. I got adobo, all type of stuff. All of my spices are mostly Mexican spices. Sazon, sazon, sazon. I love Mexican products. Hispanic products. Let me be PC. So, the recipe calls for some diced onions, diced celery. It doesn't call for diced garlic. That's something that I'm adding. How you gonna have a soup without garlic? I put garlic in everything except for my desserts. I love garlic. I have to have garlic. Okay. So, you're gonna saute your ground. Let's turn this fire down. And we're gonna brown this. Okay. Now the recipe says that we just brown this and set aside. So what I want to do, how do you brown meat without adding seasoning? So what I want to do, this is a requirement if you are on the Brenda Crocker Show, if you subscribe to my channel. And I need you to go and subscribe to my channel, please. I'm on YouTube, Brenda Crocker. Slap Your Mama seasoning. It has no MSG. It's a natural seasoning. It's delicious. It belongs in everything. It will change your life. So when I brown this ground turkey, I'm going to put a little bit. Okay, my ancestor said stop. Okay. You just sprinkle it. So I'm going to brown this. Then, and also, my cousin, Janine Shelby, she has, Bryce, come over here for the better lighting. Janine Shelby has a cooking show on Facebook called Generations to Generations. And I'm going to upload this video to Generations to Generations, cheeseburger soup. Everybody on the Generations to Generations page is anxiously awaiting my gumbo. My gumbo is going to change your life. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. If it doesn't change your life, get on the bus to Chicago, come here, zoom in, Bryce, and slap me. You're going to slap me anyway because my gumbo is so good. I make the best gumbo in the world. Yeah, I do. I know y'all like, Nene is kind of crazy and her cousin crazy too. No, I'm not crazy, but I'm telling you, And the requirement for me to do my gumbo on the Generations to Generations page is that you go to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. This is my father's recipe. He's probably turning over in his grave. So for my father's soul, I need you to go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So while my ground turkey is browning for my cheeseburger soup, I just want to give the ladies on the Generation to Generations page an introduction on what you're going to really, this is a must for the gumbo. You have to have these 3 things for the gumbo. This is the hardest thing to find. I smuggled this into the country from Los Cabos, Mexico. That's how hard it is to find. I was in Mexico at Walmart. I saw it. I was like, oh my God, shrimp base. This is shrimp base by Knorr. You have to have this for my gumbo. You gotta have it. Gumbo filet. This is Louisiana gumbo filet. I like Burma gumbo filet better, but this is just as good. And Creole seasoning. So next week we're gonna be doing the gumbo. That's gonna be a long video. I'm gonna try to cut it however I can, but that's gonna be a very long video. The gumbo video. It's gonna be long, but I'm gonna start posting the ingredients. These are the 3 most important ingredients for your gumbo. All right, back to the cheeseburger soup. So I'm gonna finish sauteing this meat. Once it's done, I'm gonna add the garlic, the celery, and the onion till it gets tender. This is gonna be in one pot, and then in another pot we'll come back and do the soup part. This cheeseburger soup has to be cooked in 2 different pots and then joined together at the end. That's the problem. Crock pot, I don't know. It's just too much. All right, so we'll be back halfway with the cheeseburger soup, and thank you and see you later. Okay, continuation of the cheeseburger soup. Sasha is anxiously awaiting, but she cannot have any cheeseburger soup. So I'm going to add our butter. This is the other pot. So this is the ground turkey with the celery, onion, and garlic, and slap your mama seasoning. Over here, we're going to be making the soup part. So this is butter. Got the butter going. Let there be light, and there was light, and the light was good. All right. So we got this going. It's going really good. We just letting the celery and the onion get tender. I got my diced potatoes. So we're gonna fry these potatoes just a little bit. Just a little bit. Once this butter melts, I'm gonna add the potatoes. Let's see. You can never be too skinny, too rich, or have too much butter. That's for Brenda Crocker, honey. Okay. So you see we got 2 separate pots for this cheeseburger soup, but this is where the soup is going to end up over here, okay? So we're just going to cook these potatoes before I add the broth. I just want to, you know, just sear them a little bit. Remove a little bit of the starch because that's what makes it too gummy, okay? Basil. Basil. Put the basil. I don't measure. So, basil, butter, potato. And just letting that simmer a little bit. And I will be back in about 10 minutes once these potatoes get like a little brown on them. And then we're going to add our shredded carrots, and then we're going to add our chicken broth. You hear that sound? That's the sound of deliciousness. These potatoes are sauteing in butter and basil, baby. This cheeseburger soup about to be the bomb. Okay. So now We're gonna add all of this whole container of chicken broth. Bam. Chicken broth. And now we're going to add our carrots. Okay. So we got that set off to the side. It's done. It's nice and sauteed. And we are going to bring this to a low boil until our potatoes are done. And then we'll start adding our next ingredients. Coming together right now. Now we add our meat mixture. The cheese is added. Got our meat mixture. Looky, looky. Look at that cheeseburger soup, child. It's coming right along. And we have done it. Voila. Let's get on in this pot. Cheeseburger soup. Ooh, look at it. Yummy. Get all the way down in there. We're just gonna keep all of that deliciousness. So we got celery, onions, garlic, potatoes diced, basil, Velvetta cheese, carrots, milk, butter, slap your mama seasoning, and all right, let's go ahead and scoop this into a bowl. Get in that pot. Just get on in that pot so I get this bowl ready. All right. Ooh. So, what else I had to do while we were off, something else I had to do, it came out a little bland to me. Now, if this consistency is a little bit too soupy for you, then all you have to do is make a roux. This is a roux. This is butter and flour. That's all a roux is. It's a thickening agent. It's something that professional cooks use to thicken their food. So, this is the cheeseburger soup. So what I ended up having to do, in addition to the slap your mama seasoning, it was a little bit bland for me. So I used 1 teaspoon of chicken seasoning, chicken base. This is broth base. So we had the big container of the chicken broth. This is the same thing in a powder form. So I had to use 1 teaspoon of that because it was a little bland to me. I like my food flavorful and seasoned. So I know it calls for sour cream, but I don't think it needs, I think the sour cream was to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm just gonna scoop that sour cream on there. Put the parsley flakes. And it's a cold day here in Chicago. You come home to something nice and warm. It's really hot, right out the pan. Mmm. That's delicious. So, Haley, I'm going to post a detailed description of my version of the cheeseburger soup. You can sprinkle a little cheese on top if you want to. It's really good. Cheeseburger soup is excellent. For generations to generations, I'll post the description of my cheeseburger soup and the recipe. All right, thank you for tuning in. Please go and subscribe to Brenda Crocker. And thank you so much for tuning in to my show today. Okay, it's very important for this soup. You always want to do your soup slow and low. And because we have potatoes in there, potatoes can break apart, make everything mushy and gummy. You want to make sure that that your potatoes remain firm. Now these potatoes are done. I did test them. They still look nice and firm. That's the way we want our potatoes to remain. So now we're going to add some milk. That is about a cup. That's about a cup of milk. I've been doing this for a while, so I could just eyeball it and automatically know. Okay, we have our milk. And that floating on top is just our basil, our deliciousness. Now, I'm adding the cheese. I'm adding the Velvetta cheese. It has been cut up. I'm just adding, the recipe calls for a little bit more cheese, and that is going to make the consistency. I'm trying to make sure that we maintain a soup-like consistency and not like some type of mashed potato mess. Okay, so I have my heat low, and I'm going to let this cheese melt. We're almost ready. We're at the home stretch with the cheeseburger soup. Stay tuned.